Good morning, Steady. I just finished listening to the conversation you had with that man. Yes, he made some good points because I can remember some of the stuff that he was talking about. I remember when there was a picture with Michael Manley in the Gleaner with him and Castro. He called himself Joshua. Remember? Michael Manley said he was Joshua and he held hand with Castro and hold up hands, both of them hold hands. And he said he would walk hand in hand with Castro to the mountaintop. And then he was trying to design Jamaica just like Cuba. Because I remembered when they had the Marty school, when those Cubans came down to build that school, it was a Cuban design. And they built it so that some of the kids could do agriculture and different things. He was training them because in Cuba, some of the students, some became doctors, some did agriculture and all of that. And then they were talking about each household should get like a quart of milk. You get milk based on the family size. And remember, he was telling the people to go capture people's land because he was bringing in this thing that if a man have a 5-bedroom house and only he and his wife live there, then he should give it to somebody who have like 3 children. That is where this capture mentality came in. And he was encouraging the guys to capture land. Anywhere you see land, just go farm. How could that be? How could you just send people to take away people's land? And I remember somebody told me that when these Cubans came to build the school, the Marty school, they went to a bar. And like 3 of them went to a bar. They bought 1 beer and they asked for a glass and they shared it for the 3 of them because that was the communist style. Yeah, and I remember one of the reasons why they vote out Michael Manley was because he was coming in with the communists. They were saying they didn't want the communists. That's why they voted him out that time. And I remember when he recruited the guys, because how could you recruit civilians to send them to go learn to fire gun, the brigadista thing. I know some of the guys from Portland who was requested and sent to Cuba to become brigadistas. How could that be? He was just messing up the country. But I remember a lot of JLP voted for him because he came back and he said, better must come. He came to change Jamaica. He come to make Jamaica better. And then people were saying, oh, we're going to vote for him because he's Norman Manley's son. He went abroad and he studied abroad. He's a very bright guy. So he was just popular because he was Norman Manley's son. And a lot of people voted for him because he said he came to make a change. But that change was for the worse. And as Mr. Perkins always said, Michael Manley is a charming man. He's lovable and all of that. But he just didn't have no experience in running a country. And he mashed up the country. And Siaga tried to patch it up, but they didn't even allow him to patch it up properly. They just vote him out. Jamaican people, they don't know what they want or nothing. They just like one person in. As soon as that person in, they vote him out and all of that. So yeah, some of those things that the man was saying, I remember some of those things. And I remember when you go to the shop, you have to buy some grocery and then you get ½ pound of sugar. So I remember ladies who have kids, a lot of kids, when they go to the shop and they get their ½ pound of sugar, they would stand up near to the shop, and when they see people coming, they would give them money to buy a loaf of bread and buy a pound of salt in order to get ½ pound of sugar. And people used to have to be begged, different people go into the shop just to get ½ pound of sugar to make up. I remember that time too. They are saying Andrew sell out Jamaica. But I remember when Portia Simpson was Ministry of Labor, when there was a strike, the farm workers strike in America. I don't remember which year, but Portia Simpson was Minister of Labor. Instead of she fighting for her Jamaican people, she called the farm workers together and told them that, remember, Jamaica is hard, so they should call off the strike, and remember, Jamaica is depending on them and all of that. And they were so upset. And this man that told me about it, he ran off. He said they was packing them up and sending them down back. And he said not come back to Jamaica because he don't know if he's going to go back. And not one of them that went up that year ever recruit back to go to America. And he ran off and he became a citizen over here. So Portia, sell out Jamaica.
Me didn't have to be a labor right. Me didn't have to be a labor right. Look here. Then me could have never be a labor right. Jesus Christ, man. God would have seen me. God would have seen me.
She didn't stand up for Jamaican people and she was the Minister of Labor.
I just listen to your latest upload, and what more say, there's a very important thing that a lot of people missed. When I was young, late 70s and the beginning of the 80s, like 1980, 81, I remember when we got to school, we used to get soy meal. I know the average Jamaican used to call it cornmeal anyway, but we used to get soy meal, bulgur, and milk powder to carry home. It's in my older age, I'm watching TV and those things, and I realized that Jamaican children were starving or on the brink of starvation and severely malnourished. When they're issuing food rations in countries where there is starvation, they give them soy meal, which is a source of protein, bulgur, and milk powder. Those are starvation rations, and that is why those were here. We got it as if it was a benevolence of the government. I'm now realizing that those were from the benevolence of donor countries who saw that Jamaicans were starving. The other thing that I looked at and realized that we were really starving. Most of us who were born during that time were not very tall. The tall people are what few and far between. Most of us might get to as high as 5 foot 10 inches maximum. However, notice the children born to those same short parents now, how tall they are. And I look back at it and I remind myself of something. One of the things that I remind myself of is the quality of persons that they would have brought here for slaves wouldn't necessarily be these small framed, weak people, They would be taller, much more stronger, and all of these things. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that it might have been that malnourishment in that early part of our lives why we didn't grow much. But look at the children that are being born to us now. I mean, I don't have any scientific evidence for it. I'm just looking at it from the outside. But I know for a fact that those rations that we used to get, the soy meal, the bulgur, and the milk powder when we went to school, those are the rations that are given in countries where there is severe malnourishment of children due to starvation. And that is where Michael Manley brought our country to. And that man is being praised, and people are just praising him because of what he said, and he did say this and he did say that. But what has he ever done? Then can point out. Ask anybody to give you 5 concrete things that Michael Manley did for Jamaica. Then can't tell you.
People of Jamaica, put your head beside the bell. PNP, me a PNP, me now vote because I do all this.